You've seen him in films like Independence Day, Spaceballs, and While You Were Sleeping. Now he's taken us back to the Wild Wild West and the new movie, The Ballad of Lefty Brown. This morning I'm joined by actor Bill Pullman. Good morning, Bill. How are you?
Good morning, Mike. Doing well, thank you.
Fantastic. Yeah. Bill, I'm reading some great things about this, but first, can you kind of describe the plot of this film?
Well, Lefty Brown, who I play, is a sidekick to a legendary cowboy that's played by Peter Fonda, and who's killed pretty much early in the story. And then Lefty is not an alpha male, and he decides he's going to avenge the death of his very dear friend. And everybody says, "Nah, you probably aren't the guy to do that well." And it doesn't go well for him. It's a challenge, but he rises to it.
Well, Lefty Brown, that's your character, and I saw the trailer this morning. In the trailer, you're right, he's not kind of your traditional throwback country western male character, right? But I guess how does this all relate to you? Do you relate to that type of character, or how did this work for you?
Well, you know, it was a surprise, I guess, because you know, I've done other westerns. I did a version of the Virginian and done some other things, but you know, playing a more straight ahead guy. But this is was a chance to really dive into those sidekicks like Walter Brennan and Andy Devine, all those characters that used to be in the westerns of the 40s, 50s, and 60s, and a kind of you know, find somebody who. It's in a way a coming-of-age story for a 63-year-old man, somebody who lived in the shadow for all that time of somebody else, always glad to appreciate other people, but suddenly has to stand on his own. And it was a real great kind of challenge.
Well, I was reading some of the other stuff I was reading, and some of the people are saying out there, some of the critics, I guess you could call them, they're saying this may be one of your best performances yet. As you're going through this role, did you feel like this is that type of performance and this type of character that could really be your marquee character? I mean, do you feel that way about this?
Well, you know, it's always interesting to hear if some people relate to the story and the character so strongly, and it's a good sign, because he's not a typical hero. It's not because he shoots better than everybody else, or he's tougher than, you know, there's some kind of sense of vulnerability that he has, and for me, playing the part, it was kind of a challenge and a risk, I guess, because I felt like I was going in a place that I'd never gone to before, and but it was, you know, one of those things that I think turned out a little better than I expected, Mike.
That's great. It's always great when it turns out better than you think. You're working on a couple other films, aren't you? What else are you working on right now?
Yeah, just shooting a sequel to The Equalizer with Denzel Washington and Boston, and then now finishing up on my part in Backseat, which is story of Dick Cheney. It's written and directed by Adam McKay, who did The Big Short. That's a really interesting political saga. Yeah, I play Nelson Rockefeller.
It sounds very interesting. I always have enjoyed following your career. The Ballad of Lefty Brown, where can our viewers see it?
It's going to be on the 15th. It's going to open in the major cities and VOD. Also, it's available on demand, and then it'll go wider and wider once January hits. Bill
Pullman, thanks for your time this morning. Much success to you on The Ballad of Lefty Brown and your other films you've got working on right now. Thanks a lot for taking some time to talk to us this morning.
Thanks, Mike.
You betcha, Bill. Kelly, over to you.